One of the places probably where we've taken feedback the most has been combat. We've heard a lot of feedback, positive and negative, on both the previous games, and you have to look at both sides of that, and you have to look to see that people really like the responsiveness of Dragon Age 2, but they didn't like a lot of the other things, the encounter design, lack of a more tactical gameplay aspect, which they felt they had in Dragon Age Origins and lost. So now really what we have to look at is what's next.
We're getting lots of focus on timing, lots of focus on when the player should be reacting to this and when there's an opening for the player to come in and just basically slaughter this guy from behind or something like that. Building on features like that, we end up getting that tactical party-based combat.
I look at strategy and tactics as being a natural outgrowth of something that Dragon Age has delivered kind of in spades, and that I think can kind of be our unique thing, a thing that helps people get drawn. And that is the concept of the fully controlled party. Less and less games are doing it. You don't see it as often. Obviously there's some very cool Kickstarters bringing it back, which is great. I'm looking forward to the Eternities and the Wasteland 2s and so on. And obviously there's a hunger for that kind of gameplay. Certainly, XCOM's success showed you as well that, again, having that direct control can be really, really powerful. In our case, then, doing it with that same kind of hybrid real-time or pause and play as you prefer has always been kind of a thing that we've saw as part of our legacy, and something we want to make sure is key.
We really want to focus on the gameplay before we focus on the visuals. If you look at this character, he's got his weapons there, but you can tell he's definitely temp. The cool thing about him is we've actually got him fully integrated into the game. He's got all of his actions, he's got all of his gameplay that we're hoping to have, and this is where we iterate strongly on them. We try to ensure that the gameplay is solid, that the creature does everything we need him to do before we move on to the next step. I have some Venatori enemies inside here, which is one of our enemy factions. So this guardsman, he's our sort of more tanky enemy. He's got this massive shield in front of him, so sometimes the tactic is I want to wait for him to do an attack and then maybe get behind him, or see if I can outpace his turn rate, and now I can get him. Or there are also various abilities that you can have as the player that can actually sort of counter this. So as an example, the warrior has an ability called Harpoon, which you basically launch out a harpoon and pull an enemy towards you. With him, you can't quite pull him towards you, but you can get him off balance and pull his shield forward. And now you've actually got him in a vulnerable state where you can start wailing on him. The creatures all have these reaction sets. We're able to create those mechanical differences where you're making different decisions based on who you're fighting. Maybe this guy is charged with electricity. Maybe I shouldn't throw something metal that's connected to a chain to him because that's actually going to be bad for me. Also, maybe this creature has armor on, so poison is actually not going to get through. It's just going to glance off and it's not going to be effective. With all of these creatures together, I mean, separate they give you challenges, but you can sort of overcome those one at a time. It's when they're all together and you see how those challenges mesh together that you end up getting a Dragon Age encounter where you have all of those complexities and you start thinking you have to think about all of these things running all the time. And you're like, okay, what abilities here, or what positioning should I be in here? I
want to give the players the tools to act as a coordinated team, more so than we have in the past. And while we're doing that, to take advantage of some of the key advantages of Frostbite 3, which is to say that we can modify the world a lot more effectively, whether that's smashing through a barricade, knocking over pillars, that kind of stuff, so that the environment is playing a major part of the combat. Then I think it allows players to think a lot more tactically, whether they're playing real-time or pause and play.
The fans are in for definitely a treat. We've got more creatures than we've had ever before, and they're going to be pretty awesome. Well, hopefully they like them. I hope. Some humility there. We've got lots of new mechanics. We've got brand new creatures that people haven't seen before. All of them are going through this process, so we're hoping to refine them and make sure that they make a very strong first showing.